Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another single song reaction here. We just got done recording 3.5 hours of Metallica Reload reaction, so we're all a little tired. We got places to be. However, my favorite band of all time from Norway, Kaizers Orchestra, released their first new song in 10 years since their last album, the opus that is Violetta Violetta Volume 3, my number one favorite album of all time. It's my favorite piece of media ever been released, their live Blu-ray show where they played it live with an actual orchestra. I can't believe we finally get new music from them. They broke up as a band for 10 years. They're back. We're going to listen to their brand new song. It'll be the first time I've ever heard it. It will probably be the first time either of you have ever listened to a song from this band, correct?
Nope.
I mean, I don't remember it, but I'm sure you've showed me before.
I'm sure I
we've
showed
listened to all
it to
kinds
you.
of stuff.
Right, but I don't know if you really ever... I guess, yeah. I talked about them in the music room, and I talked about them... Mm-hmm. The fun thing for me about this is that when I found out who Kaizers Orchestra was, they were already... it was 2013 when they had just released their last album. So I have never been around when they are releasing new music, and they have a new...
Oh, yeah. I know that feeling.
They have a new album coming out this year. If they have to screw up so badly for this to not be my number one of the year. Again, I say that in a year where I have been so disappointed by the things that I've been most anticipating. Mm-hmm. So you guys don't care about them really or anything. We'll see what you think.
I think they're super cool, but I never think I want to go listen to them.
Right. And I think for you, Chris, you don't listen to music Chris Parker, you don't listen to music that's not in English very often, right?
It's true, yeah.
Right. And do you?
I guess not.
I mean, but you listen to music where the vocals are unintelligible,
I mean, yeah, it's
right?
a different language for sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes. It doesn't really matter. You don't care about the vocals.
I don't.
And neither does Chris Parker. Like, none of us are like lyric people. I have no clue what any word that Kaizers Orchestra says in any one of their songs is in English. I have no clue what they sing about at all. Mm-hmm. Within reason. So, this song is called...
Dine Gamle Dager.
It would be Dine Gamle Dager Nach. Something like that. Sorry.
Dine Daggers.
Yes, something like that. This is a really special thing for me. So I'm so glad I convinced you guys to do this with me. I have not heard a second of this. I am going to cry if this sounds bad. Okay? So it better not sound bad.
You fucking heard. I'm so excited.
It better not sound bad. All right, here we go. You ready, Chris?
Yep.
I put it in the folder. You see it?
I got it out here. I got it.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Now, knowing them, that could be real brass. They got strings and brass on the track. And knowing them, it's real strings, real brass. Probably. Yes. Jan Ove, my favorite vocalist of all time. Any genre of music. This has a modern flair to it. I was not expecting that. Kind of like In the Air Tonight vibes, huh?
Yeah.
Phil Collins.
Wow,
This is already sorry, go ahead.
That's what it is. We just don't know because we don't know sure. heard him say the name of the song.
Castanets. Their guitar player does background vocals, but they all do background vocals. Upright bass, which is usually what their bass player plays. Thank God it's not going to fade out. It doesn't have it long enough to go to fade out. I guess it could, but it probably won't. Yeah, okay. Whew. Okay. Okay. So first of all, that wasn't the greatest Kaizers Orchestra song I've ever heard. However, production was great, I think. It wasn't the best, but definitely enough to get me excited for how the rest of the album will sound. I like the inclusion of the real strings, and I believe that was real brass as well. Their last album, even though they're called Kaizers Orchestra, their last album did feature an entire orchestra on it, and it was just as integral to the songwriting as any of the other parts of the band, which is what makes that album the most special album I've ever heard. And I thought that was pretty good. There were a lot of more modern elements in there that I wasn't expecting. So some of Yanov's solo work is definitely creeping in with some of the sort of electronic-y elements and then the repeated sort of percussive things. Because his orchestra has always been known for doing weird auxiliary percussion things. Like on their stage, they have all these weird things that just sit around, and then during certain parts of the song, they just bang on them and stuff. They have a keyboard player who usually plays organs and pedal organ when they first started, and then switched more to piano. So the fact that there was no piano or pedal organ, pump organ sound in there was interesting. But we did get sort of just clean electronic organ sounds and some synth pads and things. So that was really nice and surprising. The guitars were doing exactly what they normally do. The guy on the left and the guy on the right are kind of basically playing different songs the whole time, and it just somehow works together in this really awesome way. There was the low end was insane, definitely synthetic low end in there, but you could hear at one point the upright bass that the bass player plays. So that was really nice. But he also at times does play synth bass or keyboard bass. So he does do that sometimes. So in this particular song, he may have started, if they play it live, he might have started doing synth stuff and then go over and play the upright bass. So I thought that was great. I'm very excited. Yanov sounds really great. How do you guys feel about it?
I'm glad that you brought up that those guitars are two guys playing two different songs at the same time, because this is two different songs at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds great. It's weird.
It is a weirder song. Their stuff is usually way more straightforward than that.
Yeah.
But also they are the kind of band that's like the kind of bands I like, where they literally could do a heavy metal song on their album and it would fit in. Like they can do anything, but they do have a specific sound that is just them. And this isn't really this is different than that, but it has hints of that, but there's more of a modern, clean feeling to this. Usually their music is very dirty and gritty and more Black Keysy sounding than like One Republic or Imagine Dragons, which I felt like this was. What do you think, President Chris?
I liked the musical thing at the beginning, and then it came back in the middle, and then it was kind of over the last chorusy sort of bit. I liked that part a lot. I thought the rest of it sounded enough like an anime theme song that Patrick would like it.
Sure.
I mean, obviously didn't fully go there, but like there was some melodic things that made me think of anime, and then there was kind of like that eighth note guitar thing going on, eighth note rhythmic guitar going on in the background that made me think of that. I thought it did sound good. Other than the fact that in the last bit they tried to do more than the dynamic range of digital media will allow you to, and what are you gonna do? But you should know that if you're making those sort of dense arrangements, most people probably don't care, and if you listen to it on big speakers or whatever, it might be fine. But like they were into the limiters pretty hard at the end, and they weren't the rest of the time.
But I'm just happy that it wasn't like that the whole time. Yeah.
If it was like that the whole time, it'd be terrible.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that it was acceptable. His vocals were down a little bit lower, but there was also more effects on them. I feel like the more effects you put on a vocal, the further back it can sit in the mix while still feeling acceptable, just because inherently it sounds like the vocals are coming from a more further away place, I guess.
I will say I would go so far as to say the vocals seemed like they may have been ever so slightly too low. Yeah.
I think I've never heard a person, and maybe it's just a language thing, but I've never heard a vocalist that can so accurately overdub himself with like a harmony vocal. Like the guy does these gymnastics while he's singing, and then he just perfectly does this like an octave higher. It just is amazing to me. And I know some people are better at that than others. Like you always would shock me at how accurate you were with overdubbing. Like it's like, oh my God, I can't even tell that there's two people. So some people just inherently have that in them, because obviously it wasn't talent with you. Come on. No. But like seriously, that's like fair. His vocals are the most impressive thing to me about the band. And he didn't even use his like falsetto voice in that song at all. Like the dude can belt. He can sing however he wants. He has like a 3-octave range. He can sing low, he can sing mids, and he can sing highs, which is why his harmonies are always so good, because he can get up into that like squeaky high. But I thought his vocals were really good. They didn't stand out to me, and there was no like big singy part of this song. Whereas a lot of their songs do have like, okay, the chorus is coming up, let's all get ready to sing, gang vocally type thing. That really didn't happen here. It was more of a consistent throughout the whole song. I did like the inclusion, like I said, of the brass and the strings. That was really nice. So very, very excited for what that new album is going to be. If everything on the album sounded like that, I would be disappointed. However, they're the kind of band that doesn't do that. Like every song will be completely different from every other song. So, well, thank you guys very much for helping me do this reaction. It meant a lot to me that you were here to hear my first new Kaizers Orchestra song in 10 years. And so whenever this album comes out later, they haven't announced it yet. When this album comes out later in the year, there will be a reaction on my channel, and it will probably be my number one of the year, but we'll see. So
good.
Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.